Welcome back. I'm Danny and this here's Trey, and today we're going to be showing you a little bit about our rear suspension. Trey's going to give you little details on our rear suspension.
So what we have here is our cantilever setup. It's unique. There's not one like it on the market. And this here will fit any frame rail from 65 to 70 Mustangs. And what's really unique is it's got a coil over here, but it's mounted horizontally with your frame rail. And something really cool is you can adjust not only your spring rate, you can also adjust your ride height. Well, it's all bolted onto your car. I'm going to move on here to our upper 4-link bracket, which also utilizes the frame rail. Everything is bolt on, and this here is our upper 4-link arm, which has a left and right hand threads, which allows for easy adjustment. Danny's going to go ahead and show you our lower arms and rear ends.
So what we have here is our built aluminum lower links, and they utilize a 7/8 heim on one side. It's got dell rim bushings and a sleeve on the other side. These will slip right into your factory leaf spring location, which makes installation a lot easier. This here is your billet aluminum upper control arm, which also uses 3/4 heims, a left and a right, for easy adjustment. And then this here is your ride height adjustment link, which this will control your ride height adjuster, and it also utilizes 5/8 heims. What we have over here is a Curry 9-inch rear housing, and you can get this housing just like this in your kit if you upgrade the rear suspension to a housing. Other than that, you'll get lower links, upper link mounts, all your brake hardware, and that's about it. So now we're going to move on to the removal and installation of the rear suspension.
I went ahead and soaked all of our bolts overnight with some penetrating oil. First thing you're going to do is support your vehicle with either jack stands, or in our case we have convenience of a lift. Safety first. Next, you're going to remove your wheels. Then Danny's going to go ahead and tell you step by step what else you need to remove.
Alright, so moving on to the axle to frame brake line, you're going to want to remove that. We've taken the liberty and removed it already because it was rusted. After you've done those, you're going to move on to your e-brake cables, removing your e-brake cables from your axle. Next, you'll remove your shocks, and moving on from there, you're going to remove your lower spring plate, which we'll show now. Alright, now that you've done that, you're going to move back to the rear of the vehicle and locate your rear shackle.
You gotta kind of slide it sideways. Might be a little difficult. What you're gonna expect to see here goes on here. Then just go ahead and lay this thing down. It should just hang there.
And once you've done that, you can go ahead and repeat all these steps. Alright, now that we've gotten this leaf spring out of the way,
go ahead and lower down the axle. Pull it out. We're using a transmission jack to make it easy. If you're using jack stands, you'll probably use a floor jack or something else. So go ahead and let this in here.
So once you've got all your rear suspension removed, you're going to want to locate your rear aluminum lower link mount. You're going to want to install it in the factory leaf spring forward mount, like so. Then you're going to want to move on and locate your rear cantilever bracket and install it. So what locates your rear trailing arm mount is the factory 2 holes in your frame here. Moving on from there, you're going to want to position it all the way up to the top. So now we're moving the car down, and as you can see, the rear 2 bolt holes will locate it. Once you've got your mount flush up here, you're going to want to drill it with a 1/2 inch drill bit. So once you've got your hole drilled, you're going to want to insert your bolt. So now we're going to raise the car back up, and we're going to install our swinger. So the swinger mount holds your coil-over and also attaches to your rear end. So now locating your rear coil-over, you're going to want to install your forward side into your swinger first. And then the rear. Once you've got that installed, you're going to want to find your lower height adjuster bracket link. Now that you've got all that installed, locating your upper control arm bracket, you're going to fit it on the frame, and it's going to slide all the way up and fix to the inside of your body. That'll be your indicator. After you've done that, you're going to get a punch and center punch all your holes and then drill them all through, and you're going to want to repeat that process on the back side. So now that you've got your upper control arm mount installed, you're going to move on to your lower link after we get the axle in position. Once you've got the driver's side installed, you're going to want to move over to the passenger side. Now that you've got your rear control arms installed, you're going to want to move on to your cantilever bracket, also your height adjustment bracket. And once you get this in, you should be able to move on to the driver's side. Also installing driver's side. Moving on from there, we're going to go ahead and get our upper control arm mount. Now you've got your upper control arm mount on the body side. You're going to want to go ahead and get your bolt in on the axle side. Now that that's finished, you're going to want to go through and torque everything to the specifications in your instructions. And that'll conclude the installation of our rear suspension.